Probably not the first question you asked your mother. Probably a different word for ideas there, right? Babies? But that's kind of, I think, what's going on here is we're kind of wrapping our heads around the idea of where ideas come from. And then I want to just unpack, before we get too far down this road, why is it important to come up with an idea? Why is it important to create anything? Why is it important at all to create anything at all? What's the meaning behind that? What's the purpose? And Maurice Sendak, is it Where the Wild Things Are, that guy? He says, there's got to be more to life than owning everything. Man, I hope so. And I hope that stupid bumper sticker that says, the guy that dies with the most toys wins is wrong. I really hope that's wrong. So let's just do something here. This would be just crazy. How many of you are practicing Muslims, Jews, or Christian? Never mind, forget it. It's the wrong generation. How many of you, your parents, were practicing Muslims, Jews? Still wrong generation. Let's, grandparents, ready? Go. You ready? How many of your grandparents were practicing Muslims, Jews, or Christians? Sorry about the Jews. Okay. We'll get to you people later. Because you're my people. We, all of you that raised your hand, have a shared narrative. The shared narrative is this bizarre book of Genesis where there's nothing there. It's like, it is there. As far as we know, it is there. But nothing else is there. And then, you know, verse after verse, or sloka after sloka, the things happen. And suddenly there's light, and there's dark, and there's frog, and there's chicken, and there's wings, and stuff. And then there's guys, you know? These guys, these nude guys. So, all right, the big league comes into play later. But what do they know at that point, at the end of that story? What do they even know? What they know is they're created in the image of it, that thing. And what do they know about it? At that point, all they know about it is that it makes stuff. They go, oh, it makes stuff. Great. Well, hi, it. Nice job making stuff. Really great. And the thing, this is the kicker. And this is our collective story. We are created in the image of it. And all we know about it is that it creates stuff. So that means that you are predisposed to create stuff. It's part of your thing. It's part of what you are. It's your very nature to create stuff. It's innate. That's my jargon here. It's innate to create, okay? Write it down. Okay. Here we go. So you're going to chant or whatever. I want you, this side to do the first line. That side, we're going to split right here. Deal with it, okay? Line after line, and the comma means something. Okay, ready, go. So, colors blind the eye. Say it like you mean it.
Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky.
That's nuts. Right? Colors should blind the eye. It should delight the sound should thrill the ear. Flavors delight the taste. Thoughts stimulate the mind, and desires bring about lust. Okay, so this is crazy. This is opposition. Why in the world would old man, Lao Tzu is roughly Chinese for old man, Lao Tzu wrote the Tao Te Ching. Why would he write oppositional thinking here? Well, the fact of the matter is, colors do blind the eye, because I look at this guy and go, that's orange, and I don't think about, what's the tint? Is that sort of an Oklahoma State orange? Is that a sienna? Is that a, you know, I mean, see some art professors here and they're going, there's 37 oranges possible. Now that's just the one right there. But you see we have these, the Hindus call it samskaras, these memories of what things are. A policeman threatens me as a 4-year-old and I think all policemen are bad. That's crap, right? Or say I have an encounter with a certain gender or a certain race, and then I go, boom. Every time it's the same? No. That's not being in the moment. A sound deafens the ear. I hear a bus go by. That's a complex sound that just went by. A really interesting complex sound. Do I sit there like the village idiot? I should. And go, bus. Nice sound. That's a very, needs a clutch. Yeah. This is about mindfulness, about really taking in each moment and really just savoring it for what it is, not what you remember it to be. Now, this is the master observing the world and trusting his or her inner vision. And this is weird too. Allowing things to come and go. No big deal. You don't have to own the thing. Come on, bus! I want to hear you do your bus thing again. That's sort of like going to BW's, getting the jerk chicken, and going, hey, I love this jerk chicken. And then the next time you go in and say, I want the jerk chicken I had last Tuesday. Bad taste. Okay, let's move on. This is a dummy slide. And I don't think anybody goes in for Go-Go Girls anymore, but I do. What? A little free time? You don't have it. The pragmatics of coming up with ideas. You can do it alone, putting your nose to the grindstone, as this poor fellow is doing. Or, I mean, this is one way to come up with ideas, and certainly some great ideas, you know, they happen by yourself. You know, you get bumped on the head with an apple and you go, huh, things fall. But then, there's somebody else put your nose to the grindstone. This is not a very good collective experience, nor an ideal one. Probably a bunch of dogs sitting around playing poker would be better, or people chilling in a hot tub. But anyway, the idea of working together or working alone, it's all up for you to sort out. Now, we're going to do something, probably the longest 3 minutes of your day, including the organizers. I'm going to ask you to sit for 3 minutes in silence. I'll play a bell at the beginning, a bell in the middle, and a bell at the end. You don't have to worry about how long this is, including you guys. No one in here has to worry about it. Just find your breath. You can close your eyes, keep them open. It doesn't matter. And you can even use this moment to think about nothing. It's a long time. You should do 12 hours of that sometime. This guy spent a lot of time in silence. This is Meister Eckhart. He came up with 4 ways to go from having an idea and being mindful to actually transforming all of civilization. 4 ways. And I'm just going to leave you with those 4 ways. They're very simple and they're very complex at the same time. They're all completely impossible. I love it. So and you don't have to be a Latin scholar to figure out what they are. Positiva, negativa, creativa, and transformativa. Let's unpack those just a little bit. The first one, via positiva, could be translated as awe. Say awe for me. Awe. No, really. Awe. You know, there's I hate to say an Indian tribe, because it's a North American tribe, really. It's a North American tribe called the Cree Indians, the Cree Native Americans, and they've got a word for awe called yo-ho. Isn't that great? It's like you see something really cool and you go, yo-ho! So I'll say, yo, yo-ho! This is what, wow, yeah, you got it, bro. This idea is, this is what drives you through space. You get out of bed and you go, hey! What's going to give me bliss today? I mean, you search for it, and you find either fundamentally unsound ways of fulfilling bliss, you know, TGI what? Or you find other ways to find bliss. And you're seeking bliss constantly. You're bliss seekers. All of you are bliss seekers, regardless of how you spend your time. You at least wish you were. You can become very miserable people without seeking bliss. Now, via negativa, or suffering, it's all bad. It does. It sucks. The first noble truth of the Buddha is dukkha. It's to live is to suffer. All right? Suffering is all around us. Not one of you in here is immune to suffering. Most of you have gone to a funeral of someone that you deeply, deeply love and wept. Most of you have endured great suffering of all sorts, whether it's illness, poverty, whatever, you know. 1 out of 4 kids in the world don't have decent water? Are you serious? I mean, suffering is everywhere. Pick up the newspaper and really read it. Better yet, pick up something that's actually really good literature, like not like the Ann Arbor News, but you know, some really good. Sorry, some writers here. Oh man, I'm doomed. But dig deep, because you know the U.S. we filter our news, right? So we don't see as much suffering in the world as there really is. The internets will probably help with this, but there's lots of suffering. Okay, it's just the thing. Via creativa. There it is. Man's greatest sin is a failure to be who he is. This is Abraham Heschel. What kind of looks like a nut job, and he was. He's an absolute sweetheart, a real puppy dog. But the idea here is be who you are. Be who you are created to be. Find your inner core and just respond to that in an unfiltered way. Which means that if your dad said, I want you to be a business major, and you want to play marimba, Jack, you better be playing the marimba, okay? You got to do what you are. Do what you are. And then finally, via transformativa, or compassion. Now, Meister Eckhart, who spent a lot of time in contemplation, has an axe to grind and says, what a man takes in by contemplation, that he pours out in love. These are people that spend a bunch of time in contemplation who acted with great compassion and transformed civilization. Now, read with me who these are. Okay, you got Desmond Tutu, Dalai Lama, Dag Hammarskjöld. Nice job. You and I remember these guys. Dag Hammarskjöld, and then Martin Luther King, and that's Thich Nhat Hanh, a little guy who lectured at Cornell. Martin Luther King nominated him for Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't win because he was trying to make us understand that the Vietnamese were suffering at the same time that we were suffering. He came to Cornell to talk about our suffering. Incredible. So I want you to just go ahead and say these last 4 so you remember them. Whoa, there's where this is another crazy slide. I just got to look at this 1 second there. You got Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Gandhi. Gandhi doing one of the most political things you can do, knit your own cloth. Read about it. All right, so here we go. Number 1 is, oh, come on. Oh. And how about, oh. Jeez, I do not want any of you to be my mother. Okay. Number 2 is,
Suffering.
Number 3 is,
Creation.
And number 4, transformativa or compassion. So, go change your world. Thank you.